Today we're here to announce a partnership, HBCU partnership with Ottawa Hills High School and Florida A&M University. Florida A&M University has representatives here with us today to share the good news, as well as our superintendent of schools, Mrs. Teresa Weatherall-Neal, and also Sam Mickens, who is the orchestrator of this partnership, will come to the podium as well to speak to our guests today. But this is a very exciting announcement. It's going to change lives, as the superintendent said during her State of Schools address last week. And we're looking for some great things from the students, but not only the students, but the school of Florida A&M University as well, to create a pipeline to success for our students here in Grand Rapids. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our superintendent. Please give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here this morning to really share in this wonderful partnership. It is such a great opportunity for my students, the GRPS family. I want to thank you. Thank you for this partnership. You guys, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Our partnerships with the historically black colleges is really all about you and creating opportunities for you to go to the next chapter in your life. We've done so much here at Ottawa Hills High School, University Prep, Innovation Central, so many of our wonderful schools in this district, but we need others to take you to that next level. And we could not do this today without Florida A&M. But more importantly, I have Sam. Sam, come over here. Sam Mickens Jr. He believes in you guys as much as we do. He is a graduate, and it is really because of his relationships and him pushing to give you every opportunity that you can have. He has helped us make these connections. And again, I just say thank you to Sam, and for all of the people that supported him and that will support you. Once you leave us, we are still a part of the Grand Rapids Public Schools family. We are here to do whatever you need to help you be successful. You also have a principal in the district, Stephanie Davis, who is a graduate. Come on up, Steph. Mrs. Davis. Mrs. Johnson. She changed her name, you guys. But we have people here that believe in you, that had a wonderful opportunity in Florida. And they want it for you all as well. I'm going to stop talking, but I want you to know that we will continue to create more opportunities for you with our partnership. And I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie here, Mrs. Davis, Johnson Davis. Are you going to come here? We have a few remarks here.
Hello, good morning, how are you? You can do better than that. Good morning, how are you? Are you excited? I'm excited because I'm a FAMU Rattler, but first I am a student and a graduate of Grand Rapids Public Schools, so that's phenomenal. We want you to believe and know that you can do and become whatever you want to do and become. We happen to all be on the same page. We are Rattlers. We went to Florida A&M University, which is about 20 hours south of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so with that being said, we are all working collectively so that you can get there. So we want to thank Superintendent Neal, Mr. Lewis, Dr. Hudson for coming, the FAMU Rattler team, Mr. Johnson, Natasha, and we have a student here that will speak as well. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Stacy King, and she is over the FAMU alumni. She is collectively working on starting one in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Good morning, and good morning. Thank you guys for coming out today. We are here to celebrate Florida A&M being here and offering these wonderful opportunities. Because I want to share something about myself. I'm not even from Grand Rapids, and people ask me all the time, how did I end up in Grand Rapids? Well, first, how did I end up at Florida A&M? A situation just like this presented itself to me. I was at a United Negro College Fund scholarship interview at Chicago Urban League. And one of the judges happened to be from Florida A&M University. And I had 3 schools on the list, and I'm not going to name those schools. But he said, what do I need to do for you to attend Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University? And I said, I just need a scholarship. He said, I can make that happen for you, but you got to leave those other 2 schools off your list because they're not a part of the UNCF umbrella. I said, sure, I won't shop around anymore unless I got that scholarship. So that day, it's called patience. He said, wait around for me. He had to interview more students. And you guys have cell phones now. So he went upstairs. He called up Florida A&M. Someone faxed him over a partial scholarship. So what does that mean? He said, this might not be a full scholarship. You did meet the requirements to attend any school that you wanted to attend in the United States. But there are certain requirements that you do have to make. And I said, okay. But I had a 3.8, and I had the ACT score at the time, too. But he said, I'm going to match it. I am the first African American who has my own advertising agency in New York City. And I said, wow, full tuition scholarship. How awesome is that? Now, what's so unique about FAMU, this man just didn't offer his money. He offered his time. He called me every Sunday to make sure I graduated. Now, that's the next key word. I graduated along with his daughter. Now, he had his own daughter there, too. So he's watching me, several other Rattlers, and his own child graduate from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, and I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree. Now, just like you, we all have labels. And my school was labeled in Chicago, Illinois, one of the worst schools in the CPS system. You guys hear about Chicago now. It was just like that when I was growing up, too. But these 4 walls don't determine who you are. It's people inside your school that wants to see you make a difference. So I had a teacher there who had a PhD in mathematics. Me, I didn't even know what that meant. But she developed me to become the engineer that I am today. She said, you need a strong math foundation. And I might have complained, because as we know, we like to label ourselves, I want to be cool, I didn't want to join the math team, I didn't want to do any of those things. But she didn't let up. She did not let up. So because of her, I thank her for this wonderful opportunity that I get to share with you guys. Because then from that experience, the Chicago Urban League poured into me next. And then from that experience, someone else poured into me. And then from that, Florida A&M poured into me. So I'm just giving you guys back something that was given to me. So I'm going to pass the next conversation on to the next student that's there now who I poured into. And her name is Imani, and she's a current student at the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
Greetings and humble salutations. I am Imani Hayden, a second-year business administration student from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And yes, I go to Florida A&M. I just finished my first year, and I know it's kind of a big thing thinking about, wow, why would I move 17 hours away all the way to Tallahassee? Well, it's not that as bad as you think. We have a Michigan club that really helped me get accustomed to the difference of being so far away from home. It's a really good club. We talked about, we just really get together, hang out, and make each other feel more comfortable about being that far away from home. Another thing was I found a mentor as soon as I got there. He's from Detroit, Michigan, and he really helped me get accustomed, and he was just a really good friend. He was telling me different clubs I should look into in different organizations that I joined, like the campus activity board, just to get more involved in the campus. The key is to get involved and keep yourself busy. You're not going to be homesick if you just focus on why you're there and what your purpose is. If you focus on your grades, focus on making connections, and just having a good time at school, I promise you, you won't get homesick. You'll just be too busy to even think about home. Why I chose to go to FAM? Well, one, they have a really great business program. I'm a business student. Also, I really wanted to go to a HBCU my entire life. So FAM has a great history, a rich culture, and it's just a great experience all around. It was very nice for me to finally be in an environment where I seen people who look like me striving for the same goals, having the same purposes, and having the same mindset as me, and just really like wanting to work hard and become successful in the future. And that will motivate you even more. And I know some of y'all may think y'all the big thing at your high school, because I thought I was too. But as soon as I got to FAM, I realized there's always somebody else doing more and doing better. That shouldn't discourage you, but that should motivate you to put your best foot forward and to do more and to do better. So I do encourage you all to go to FAM. If you have any questions, I'm here all summer. I can give you guys my phone number, and you can just ask me if you have any questions. Thank you.
I'm not gonna run my mouth too much. We're all here for a good reason. We're all here because we're all qualified to go to school, whether we go to Florida A&M or not. I'm hoping we're not gonna choose a or not route, but I'm gonna introduce the person who traveled a long way up here to come see each and every one of you students. Dr. William Hudson, he's the Dean of Vice President, I'm sorry, he gets a new title every time he comes up. Vice President of Admissions at Florida A&M. Dr. Hudson.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. All right, now, I came a long way. It's freezing here, so I need a little more energy. Come on now. Good morning. Good morning. It's a lot better. That's a lot better. First, I want to thank you for attending. That's the first step, being present when great things are talked about. Second, I want to thank Principal Lewis, Superintendent Weatherall, all of my alumni. Thank you for this partnership. Not only is it important for the university, for the school district, but it's important for you, and I think it's important for the United States of America. Because seldom do students get to hear about the benefits of attending an HBCU. Well, I'm here, just like you guys. I was in your seat some 20-something odd years ago to make a decision on what school I wanted to attend. I'm number 7 of 13 kids, lucky number 7. My parents got divorced when I was very small. People look at me now and they see Dr. Hudson, but they don't know the story behind it. You guys look at us as adults and you may think that, hey, they just got into a principal's position or a superintendent's position. But every single one of us has a story. I was one of those problem children growing up. I was very angry because my parents got divorced. I blame myself. And so I acted out. I did a lot of things that you see me in a suit today that you wouldn't imagine. I lived in several different cities because I would get in trouble wherever I lived. I lived in Carroll City, Miami. I lived in East Orange, New Jersey. I lived in Southside the city, Chicago. And I ended up with my grandparents, who were the last hope for me, in a small town on the Florida-Alabama line called Jacob City, a farming town. I grew up on a farm. But that actually saved my life. If it wasn't for my grandfather, who had a 6th grade education, my grandmother, who had a 7th grade education, I would not be here, because they taught me 3 things. Number 1, they taught me how to love myself. Number 2, they taught me how to love other people and respect them. And number 3, they taught me work ethic. I've never been the smartest person in my family. I'm not the smartest person in my marriage. I just work hard. And getting up in the morning at 4 o'clock, going to feed the animals, coming back, having to take a shower, go to school all day, come home, do your chores, feed the animals again, do your homework, that gave me a rhythm of what to do. And in the South, in my family, you were in church at least 6 days a week, okay? So you had that pattern and you had that structure. I had never made higher than a C my entire high school career. I took a test to determine if I was college level. and I did fairly well. In the previous year, they had diagnosed me with ADHD. But I found something out by taking that test, that I really didn't have a disability. I was just bored in the classroom. And as a lot of students do, when we get bored, what do? You act out. You bother people. So I was throwing spitballs, pulling people's hair, biting off erasers and throwing it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You did it too. But that's because I was bored in those basic classes. I would finish my work and I would have nothing to do. But when I got into the college level track by accident, I began to achieve more. I began to do better because it challenged me. Found out I had some athletic ability, won 7 state championships, and parlayed that into a scholarship. I got scholarship offers from several institutions: Alabama, Auburn, Florida State. But I wanted to go to Georgia Tech. I wanted to be in Atlanta at that time. Everybody wanted to be in Atlanta. But I had a mentor in my life who asked me to do him a favor and visit Florida A&M University. Never been on my map, never thought about it, never considered it. So I visited the school. During that visit, something happened. Going to the classrooms and seeing people who looked like me, as our current student said, doing great things. Having the mindset to want to be doctors, lawyers, engineers. I'd never been around anything like that before. The faculty and staff and the small classes where you get personalized attention to make sure that you're going to be successful. That's something that you don't get everywhere. To have caring people that care about your well-being, that want you to succeed. And it just changed my whole mindset. I tore up my scholarship offer to Georgia Tech and I signed with Florida A&M, which became one of the best decisions that I made in my life. I don't want you to think once you get to college that it's all rosy. Life happens. The decisions you make today will affect who you are tomorrow. I did well my first year, I had a 3.0. Second year, didn't go so well. I began to hang out, go to parties all the time, played video games all the time, played cards. Some of y'all know how to play cards, spades, bid whist, tonk. I did it all. I did everything I wanted to do except go to class. My GPA went from a 3.0 to a 1.7. Yeah, that's the face I had too. I just knew my grandparents were gonna kill me. But once again, God had a plan for me. I had a mentor in my life at that time, 2 actually, my history professors. The only classes I passed. And they wouldn't even talk to me, but they took me to a person that they said could help me. And it happened to be the president of the university. He became my mentor. I can't tell you what he said because there are a lot of curse words involved. But he got me on the right track. The basic gist of his message was, you have to make sacrifices. You have to sacrifice television. You have to sacrifice the cell phone. You have to sacrifice going out. And most importantly, you're going to have to sacrifice some friends. If you are the smartest person in your group of friends, you need to find some new friends. I don't say that to be mean, but in a friendship, it's like a relationship. It's a give and take. If you're doing all the giving, then what are you getting in return? And so I had to do that. Some people didn't like it, but I had to think about my progression into where I wanted to be. I had to want to be successful as much as I wanted to breathe, and that means I had to do what it took. It took me 4 years to get my GPA up to a 2.8. I didn't graduate cum laude, I graduated thank you, Lord. I was happy to have a degree. And because of that, I went out looking for a job. The only job I could find with a psychology degree, you see, I wasn't like our engineers. They could come out with a bachelor's degree making good money. I was a psychology major. So any of y'all want to go into the social services field, know that you got to get a PhD. You can't stop. The only job I found paid $11,789.62 a year. a year. I can make that stand in school. And so I decided to listen to my mentors, and I went back to school. And my goal was to become a guidance counselor. I went into counselor education. And so I began to go to school for that. I had a 4.0 GPA leading up until the final test that I had to take. And I didn't study like I should. It was the last test. You know, you get senioritis. Sort of, you know, I look at stuff, but I really wouldn't study. And I knew I didn't do well on the test, so I just chalked it up. But something happened. And I think it was a test for me. My professor got severely ill. I was working as a graduate assistant in the dean's office, and they asked me to grade the test. Now, how many of you, if you had to grade your own test, y'all smiling already, you know what I'm gonna ask. Know you would get an A, right? Raise your hand. How many of you would get an A if you had to? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know you would give yourself an A. And so, I don't know. I'm a cartoon buff. I love Tom and Jerry. So you know you have the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. That's what I had going for me. So I was debating. It took me 10 minutes to grade everybody else's test, but for mine it took me an hour and a half because I was debating. Should I just go ahead and just give myself an A, or should I grade it honestly? And my grandmother always said these catchy things, you know, don't do something today that you'll regret tomorrow. What you do today can mess up your blessings that you'll receive in the future, you know. So listening to her, I graded the test the right way. I got a C on the test and a B out of the class. My GPA dropped to a 3.9, which was okay, but I felt good about what I did. And I like to think that because I made an ethical decision then, that I'm standing before you today. Because in all honesty, I'm not supposed to be here. When I was in high school, my guidance counselor asked me, why do you want to go to college? You know you'll be dead by 25. If you graduate, you're going to be back here working in the sawmill and probably catch cancer from all the fumes. That's what my guidance counselor told me. And I got angry. But I didn't get angry enough to be a detriment to myself. I used it as motivation. Now I send her roses every Valentine's Day from Dr. William Hudson Jr. Thank you for all your support, because you made me who I am today. You use things that people use against you as motivation to be successful. You have a support system here. Utilize it. You guys are juniors. Your opportunity is before you. You have this entire summer to get ready to go to college. Although I recognize my university, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, as the top university in the nation, no matter what anybody says, I still recommend that you at least apply to 5 institutions, because you need to know what your options are. And you need to do it early. How many of you have taken the ACT and SAT? Or how many of you have taken the SAT, because you're SAT state now? Good. If you haven't taken it, you need to do so as soon as possible. Because most times, your first time, you're going to be jittery. It's the first test. So that when you come back in the fall, you'll be prepared psychologically and academically to take the next step. Applications become available in August. You should all start applying in August, and you should be working on your essays during the summer. Scholarships. Don't wait for a school to give you a scholarship. Scholarship opportunities are out there for you. You have the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship, the Bill Gates Scholarships. There are scholarships that will cover your entire tuition to go to school. And if you look at them, many of them you don't have to have a stellar GPA or a stellar test score. But you have to be assertive enough to go out and look for it. You have to be aggressive. You can't be passive. You have to want it as much as you want to breathe. And that's what we're here to do, is to provide that opportunity. At Florida A&M University, we have several majors that stand out, but we have all majors as well. Some of our well-known majors are pharmacy, our School of Business and Industry, engineering, all of the STEM. We have a pre-med program. We even have a law school in Orlando. For those of you that want to be lawyers, we have a 6-year program where you can have your Juris Doctorate in 6 years. You'll spend 3 years on our campus in Tallahassee, 3 years in Orlando, and by the age, those of you that are 18, by the age of 24, you can have your Juris Doctorate and be a lawyer by the age of 24. We are the #1 producer of PhDs, College of Origin for PhDs for African Americans in the STEM sciences. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. We have a physics PhD, an environmental science PhD. We have a College of Agriculture. And no, it's not farming. Our College of Agriculture works with food quality, water quality, things that the United States is severely looking for in this next generation. And they will pay your entire way through college. So money is not the option. Money is not the obstacle. The only obstacle is you. You have to put in the time, the effort, and the desire. I know that it's far away from home, but look at it as only temporary. Some of you want to get as far away from home as possible. And how many of you like the sunshine? Trust me, in December, we're typically at about 80, 85 degrees. Yes. But that's why they have air conditioning now, and you will have that at school. But the options are there, and we want to expose you to those options. One of the things that I wanted to do while I'm here, we do have one of your students who has been accepted to FAMU and has received scholarship as well. So I'm going to ask Ms. Maya Thompson to come forward. Welcome to the family. This is her certificate for admission. Maya has decided to become a Rattler. And as opposed to me just telling you the great things about FAMU, I wanted her to speak to you for a moment to say why she chose FAMU and to come to the highest of the 7 hills in Tallahassee, Florida.
My name is Maya. I go to university prep and I would be attending FAMU in the fall. So not going to college was never an option for me, so I wanted to make the most of it. And college can be the hardest 4 years of your life, so I wanted to make it easier on myself as well. So I went on the HBCU tour a couple of times, and literally every campus we went to was a family environment, and that makes the hardest 4 years of your life 10 times easier. So, however, I chose FAMU simply because you cannot compete when you don't compare. I was always interested in other HBCUs, but they always were missing a couple of things. But FAMU was honestly the complete whole package for me. From the amazing faculty to answer every question my mom and I have, to the education, to the athletics, their D1 school, to the faculty. Every time they call me, it's such an amazing experience. There's always somebody that's willing to help you. To the campus, it's such a lovely campus. I've been there one time, and it's just love all around. That's another reason why it was a complete package, because I wanted a large campus, and FAMU was a large campus. The hills are vicious. Yeah, it just doesn't get any better than FAMU.
Thank you. Well, I also want to open it up for you guys. If you have any questions, and not just about college and the transition to college, but any thoughts that you have. And just please remember this, even if you don't attend our school, the only dumb question is the question that you do not ask. Do not let anybody ever tell you not to ask questions, because you don't know if that person sitting next to you or behind you may have that same question, but they're afraid to ask it. So if you have any questions, and that's parents too, please raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Music programs. Great question. We do have music programs, and honestly, we've got the best band in the nation. If you want to Google it, Google the Florida A&M Marching 100. We're the only band that was invited to the Centennial for Paris, France. We've been to 6 Super Bowls, performed. We were the last ones to perform with Prince at the Super Bowl. And so that was our band that was on the Super Bowl stage with him. We performed at the Grammy Awards. We performed with some of everyone. And we've also been invited to Carnegie Hall, the first band to be invited to Carnegie Hall. So we have a stellar music program. Anyone interested in rapping, singing, or any of those things, we have a program, a major called Music Industry. That major teaches you things behind the scenes, the producers, the people that really make the money. And so we teach you that aspect. Many of you guys are young, but I don't know if you know Kid and Play. Well, Chris, who is Play, is one of the professors in that program who does an excellent job teaching about the music industry, the highs and the lows of it. So, great question. Yes, sir. That's a great question. Y'all got some great questions. That's called entrepreneurship. That's a major in our School of Business and Industry. Our School of Business and Industry has produced so many entrepreneurs and also chairmen. Do any of you know who the chairman of Microsoft is? Y'all do know it was Bill Gates at one time, right? Well, he retired and he left the Rattler in charge of it. Mr. John Thompson is now the chairman of Microsoft, and he's a FAMU grad. He actually donated $5 million to the school. And he also offered several internships. We have about 60 students interning with Microsoft in Seattle and Los Angeles and other places as well. One of the things about our school, we want to make sure that you have a job when you graduate. That is our goal. So we want you to graduate, but we want you to be employed as well. So we offer internships as part of our curriculum. I'm over the Career Center, so we bring in over 600 Fortune 500 companies to offer summer internships, some of them paid, some of them not, for students during the summer to get that real world experience so that by the time you graduate, you have several offers from companies to join them in employment. Great question. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do. We check all of that. And for those that may want to stay close to home at first and attend the community college, you can transfer after those 2 years and come as well. So some people want to stay at home at first, but then they get tired of their parents and want to move out after those 2 years. We accept you then too and take those credits. We just make sure that they qualify for the Florida regulations. Yes, ma'am. I want to do something first though. Would y'all stand up and tell me your name? I'm sorry, y'all know my name. I don't know y'all name. Okay. Great question, Andrea, great question. Advice, take math and science all the way through your 12th grade year. Do not stop taking your math and science. That is the basis for everything, especially in college. You have to have those math and science backgrounds. So make sure you do that. Number 2, prepare early. Don't wait until the last minute. I was a student, and some of you may recognize it, who always thought I should wait till the last minute to do things. That gets my creative juices flowing. I perform better when I wait till the night before the exam to study or to write my paper. It's gonna be great, because I always got A's in high school when I did that. When you get to college, it's different. When you get to college, I'm mad at myself because you get what's called a syllabus the first day of class that tells you everything you have to do for the entire semester. And if you're smart, which I was not, you would go and do those things the first 3 to 4 weeks and chill for the rest of the semester. I wouldn't do that. I wait till those creative juices flow. And that's why I end up working hard through the whole semester when I really didn't have to. So also, if you need help, seek help. I told you my grandmother put all these little sayings in my head. A closed mouth don't get fed. What does that mean? That means if you need help, seek help so that you can have the help that you need to be successful. If you don't, then you wait too late, then nobody may be able to help you. So that's the other important thing that I think you should know. Great question. Yes. Great question. What type of tutoring programs do we have at Florida A&M? We have tutoring for every subject, and it's free of charge. Our tutorial lab is over from 10 in the morning to 10 at night because we know students aren't getting up at 8 o'clock and going to get tutoring. They're going to wait until later. And so those are the types of things we have available: tutorial labs, science labs, our library. All the resources are there for you. So it's available as soon as you get to campus. Yes, ma'am. Okay. There are no dance scholarships. All right. We do have dance programs. It's not a major, but we do have programs for dance and intramural dance, and we also have dance organizations. Now, one of the things I want to warn you about your freshman year: do not get too involved in things outside of your academics. You want to set your GPA up because organizations that you may want to join later have GPA requirements. So all of you know about fraternities and sororities and things like that, right? They require GPAs, good GPAs. So your freshman year, you should take that time to survey the environment, to see what organizations you like, because there are a lot. We have over 200 clubs and organizations, 30 dance troupes, but you want to find the one that fits the values that you have and don't take away from your academic education. All right? Yes, ma'am. Good question. What kind of financial aid packages? Number one, you have to complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA is the federal financial aid form, and it's online. Now you can start doing it in October, and your parents can use their previous year's taxes to do it. And so you can do it early. The earlier you do your FAFSA, the more, if you're eligible, the more grants you can receive. So you have the option of getting grants, scholarships, but you also have an options of loans as well, student loans. If at all possible, stay away from student loans. However, if it's a necessity, they're the best types of loans you can get because of their interest rate. And it's an investment into your education, okay? So I don't tell students don't take loans, but if you don't have to, don't take it. But if it's a necessity, please take it. Great question. Summer programs. We do have some summer programs on our campus. And so students, it depends on what you want to major in. We have our Black Male Explorers program that you could be a part of. So there are some opportunities. And I don't know if they're still open. Typically, they stop their application process in end of April. But there are some opportunities for those that may be sophomores, rising juniors, to be able to do it. I think in your senior year, it may be too late to try to experience that. Now, they do have some HBCU tours that will come into the campus. I would recommend that to any student, to tour and visit the campus prior to making a decision. That way you can see what the campus life and culture is like. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'll have to find out. The HBCU tours, when do they typically do the HBCU tours from Grand Rapids? So, how do they sign up? She'll make sure she gets that information to you guys so that you can have it. But I would recommend that for everyone. And then also, go to the university's websites. Take a look at them to see what the campus environment and the statistics are. Okay? I saw your hand in the back. Yes, sir. We certainly do. We have several foreign language courses. In fact, thank you for saying that. We also have a study abroad program. One of my biggest regrets about my college career is that I didn't study abroad. I have about 20 students in Italy right now that are studying abroad for the summer. And so those opportunities will avail itself to you. We have study abroad programs in China, South Africa, South America, as I said, Italy, Germany, London. Those opportunities will avail itself to you. We want our students to be prepared for the global society. And so we provide those opportunities to study abroad. Great question. Other questions? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. We not only connect, we invite y'all to our houses for like Thanksgiving, because you can't come back here all the time. So we have students at our houses for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for other types of events. But we serve as mentors for you. And so you're going to have that connection. And that's one of the benefits. You're going to have lifelong friends that you make. I've done that. That's why I'm here. I have friends from Ottawa that I'm just very passionate about. And they are too. And so all they have to do is call me and ask me to come. But Grand Rapids, you know, I had never been here until about 6 years ago. And now I'm here every year, sometimes 3 times a year. And so you make those kinds of connections. You're going to go home with people. I've been to California in college, New York, places that I never thought I'd get a chance to go because of the people and the relationships that I made. And so that's another benefit that you guys will have. Yes? We have both. We have great ROTC programs. In actuality, you'll become an officer after you graduate from Florida A&M in ROTC. We have each branch of the service. So, and they offer scholarships as well. In our athletics program, we have football, basketball, men's and women's basketball, softball, track and field, golf, tennis, baseball. Did I miss anything? Volleyball and volleyball. We don't have swimming. We don't have swimming. We've got pools, but we don't have a swimming team. It costs money. Yes, ma'am. Yes. I teach in rehabilitation, so you'll have to take my class if you want to go to PT. We have a doctorate in physical therapy. So the school is the School of Allied Health Sciences. And so we do have that program. Great. You good in science and math? We're gonna work on that math. Yes, ma'am. I'm not from Michigan. I'll let someone from the Michigan Club tell you about the Michigan Club. But every state has a club on our campus. And in some cases, like the Chicago Club, they want to be their own city. So you got the Chicago Club. But I'll let her tell you about the Michigan Club.
So like one thing that's really big at FAM, like at any social engagement, like a big thing that we have is Set Friday. The DJ likes to call out, "Where are you from?" And then 75% of FAMU is from Duval. So all you hear is Duval. And then you'll be like, you don't hear any other cities. So the other cities try to make their own, or the other states try to make their own club. I know, so for the Michigan Club, we have socials, which are basically like small parties. You'll hear that a lot, maybe like kickbacks. And we had a social with like the Atlanta Club, and it's just like to get to know each other more in an intimate setting, and just so you don't feel so alone. Like a lot of times the Michigan clubs, people hit each other up like, hey, who's driving home, and carpool and stuff. Or I know I hit up a girl from the Michigan Club because I'm flying back home. Flying back in the fall, but I know she's driving. So I was like, hey, if I bring some stuff to you, will you drive it down for me? Like little connections like that. Another thing we help each other out with is like for how they're saying for Thanksgiving, you won't go home for Thanksgiving. Most of y'all won't because 2 weeks later you'll come back home for Christmas, and it just doesn't make sense cost effectively. So you'll make friends and figure out who's staying or who apartments you can go to for Thanksgiving dinner so you don't have to feel so alone. And it's just like a really good community and a way to network and meet new friends. So if you do come on campus, it's just find me. I'll be very there, and I can get you into the Michigan Club. We have Group Me a lot. That's a big thing. If you don't have Group Me, what are you doing in college? So it's an app, and you can get added to the Michigan Club, get all the information about the little events that we have, things like that.
Can they join the Group Me now?
Yeah, y'all can. Do y'all want to? I can add you. So I'll be over here if y'all want to.
She'll add you today, so see her to the side. That way you can know what's happening, and also ask your questions. There may be some questions you want to ask that you don't want to ask me, but ask a student, and so that's an opportunity for you to do that as well. We want our students connected and networking. Other questions? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So if you're doing a pre-med degree, and a lot of it depends on you, depends on the grades that you make and how you score on the entrance exam for the medical school. So really, if you're looking at medical school, you're looking at 4 years as a bachelor's, then you're looking at least another 4 years for the medical degree, and then your residency is typically a year or two. Now, we can get you to any medical school that you want to go to in the United States. We have a pipeline. We have what's called our graduate feeder program. And that is where students that graduate from Florida A&M, because they know the caliber and the training that you get, schools look at your application in a different light and give you more weight towards your application. Okay? Yes, ma'am. No. Why are we going to get you ready and send you back to Michigan? No, you have to go to the Florida A&M University Law School. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if you're talking a Hall of Fame like football, Bob Hayes, who played for the Dallas Cowboys, is the only person to have a gold medal and a Super Bowl championship. How many of you have seen Stomp the Yard? Think Like a Man. Takers. The producers, Will Packer and Rob Hardy, are FAMU graduates. They were actually engineering majors. How many of you, what was it, The Frog Princess? Princess and the Frog. The Princess and the Frog. All of you remember that? Well, Anika Nona Rose is a graduate of FAMU. What about That's So Raven? How many of you used to watch that? You remember her mom? She's a graduate of FAMU as well. For us, it was, what was it? Huh? Yeah, but what was the show that we watched when we were small? Keenan Ivory Wayans, In Living Color. She was on there. She graduated from Florida A&M University. So there are several people. Pam Oliver, Sports Center. She graduated from Florida A&M University. How many of you watch the Haves and the Have-Nots? Oh, y'all don't watch that? Okay. Well, Veronica on that show is a FAMU grad. So there are several people throughout industry and throughout the nation that have had significant impacts that graduated from our institution. Great question. You had another question in the back?
That should be the last question right here.
The average merit award. Typically, our average merit award is probably for an out-of-state student about $16,000 a year, depending on your GPA. As I said before, if your GPA is high and your test scores are high, we will cover your tuition, okay, which is about $16,000 a year, all right? And so that's for 4 years. Our minimum scholarship is you have to have a minimum 3.0 GPA, 24 on the ACT, 1,000 on the SAT. That's for $1,000 per year. If you get a 3.5 GPA, 29 ACT, 1290 SAT, you will get your tuition and fees covered for 4 years. The total cost of that is about $52,000 that you'll get for your lifespan for those 4 years. Remember what I said, preparation. Say it with me, preparation. Preparation. All right. Prepare for your destiny. Thank you, guys.
I would like to thank Dr. Hudson again for coming down, and I would like to thank all of you for doing what you have to do to kind of be in this position to attend any college and university. There's one more thing I would like to do before we release everybody to go over and eat, and then we'll have a couple of time, just a couple of moments to ask some questions. We still do things a little bit different at FAMU, so I'm gonna put a couple of people on the spot. I wish all of my alum can come up for a moment. See, Tangela, can you come up here for a moment? Sherry, Stacy, where is anyone who's attended Florida A&M University to come up for a moment? Imani, come on over here. Everybody, come up for a moment. Come on over here. Yeah, Miss Davis. So everybody talked about it being a family atmosphere and things of that such, and we all stick together. I mean, we're all graduates of FAMU, and I just want to do this one more time. Maya Thompson, I want you to come on up. We have something for you, for incoming freshmen, for doing the things that you were supposed to do. Congratulations. I want to thank your parents are here, right? You tell your parents to come on up as well, mom and dad. You did everything right with her, prepared her to get to this point. We just want to say thank you, and this is our newest Rattler, and hopefully we have a couple of other Rattlers right here in the crowd that are coming up next. But and again, I'm gonna say this again. Maya has received $50,000 towards her tuition. She's received on her own another what? Another $10,000 off her tuition, and her room and board is basically paid for doing the things that she's supposed to do. There you go. All right, everybody, we can head over there and go eat. Yep.